Am I still on? We're going to hit some real estate, maybe talk some money markets, maybe smoke a cigar. You see who's on the show. It's in the show title. Buckle up and welcome aboard. My brother. Man, it's so good to see your face, and I can't even... Well, just unmute your mic. Oh, there, perfect. I was gonna say I can't even believe I can't believe you're not in a bathrobe. I see you got a gar going. And were you at Remax? I'm just seeing you're at Revel Realty, which doesn't surprise me because that's Hollywood Realty. That's like Model Inc. Realty. Like everyone's gorgeous at that real estate company, including yourself. Look at the fucking having a big Cuban out on the back deck, fucking guy.
Living the good life, you know?
Yeah.
We got to enjoy every single day.
Yeah.
And I do it the best way I can.
Yeah, I see you are doing it pretty well. And just for the people, like, we don't know each other that well. I think we've got some mutual friends. But I'm a big fan. And so when we connected, I'm like, dude, you just come on the show and talk real estate and talk markets and stuff like that. So if you don't mind, be selfish. Take as long as you need to tell us, you know, where did you come from? How did you get to where you are now? And just tell us, give us the whole life story if you can encapsulate it into a few minutes, whatever. You got as long as you need, bro, so take it.
Where do I start? Well, I'm born in Toronto, and I've been living in the Niagara region for most of my life, for at least 30 years. Mm-hmm. So I consider myself to be a Niagara boy. I went to school here. I went to A.M. Meyer School.
All right.
So this is home, Niagara's home.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, most people know me for real estate. And I've been in real estate since 2007. Oh. And it wasn't a good time to get in real estate back in 2007, 2008.
Right.
It was a really difficult time with the financial crisis. But real estate's always been one of my passions. I learned at a very young age, going over to my grandparents' house, my nono's house. They didn't have Nintendo. They didn't have TV. They had a Monopoly board.
Yeah.
So it was kind of lasagna for lunch, and then you played Monopoly. And that was the Sunday routine.
Cool. What was your inspiration to get into real estate? Did you have like a mentor, or, you know, what kind of paved that path to get you into that business of all things?
Well, you know, playing Monopoly with my aunts and any family cousins who came over, we all got to learn that whoever owned the real estate on the Monopoly board, it was pretty fun. Collecting money, right. Collecting rent. And if you didn't have the right property, it was a pretty tough game and it wasn't fun. So I always knew real estate was something to invest in and hold, but I didn't know I was going to be in real estate. I actually had no idea what I wanted to do. And one day my father got a phone call from one of his friends, and the guy said, Cosmo, I want to show you a 6-unit building. It's for sale. You should take a look at it. So my dad said, hey, why don't we go take a look at this building? I don't know. I think I was around 17 or 18 at the time. I went with my father. The guy showed my dad the building. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off. And I said to myself, like, what does this guy actually do? He says, well, he helps find good investments, and he knows the real estate market. So, he can help us enter and exit the market and acquire property. And I said, you know what? I can do that, and I can do it better than him. And so I think this is what I'm going to go after. And that's how it started. So after high school, I went right to real estate, and it's been 15 years.
Wow, right straight out of high school. Hey, tell me, did anyone ever go broke buying property on Monopoly? Isn't that the whole deal? Like, just as soon as you can afford to buy something, buy it all and just spend all your money on properties. That is the theory, right? Just keep buying, buy from the first roll, whatever you land on, you buy right off the bat, right?
Well, I can't tell you all my secrets, but I'm pretty much undefeated champion now, right? But no, you know what? You're really incentivized to buy assets and accumulate assets because, these days just working is probably not going to cut it. We really need a lot of help. With the taxes here in Canada, after you make a living, you live good, but it's really hard to save. And that's what real estate allows people to do. Is it allows you to save for the future. It's a great way to hedge inflation, and it's a terrific way to have secondary income, while you sleep.
Mm-hmm. And a backup plan for a nest egg when things go south. I mean, you mentioned it right off the bat. It's such a perfect intro because as a real estate investor, the idea is buy and hold. Real estate investors aren't flipping for the quick dollar. They're buying and they're holding, and they're holding through the 08s and the 2022s, and they're holding and they're holding and they're holding. Tell me a little bit about the current market and how you balance that with, do you think it's ever going to get higher than this? We've seen the peak. The light got switched off. I've seen the market. I've been a realtor for 30 years. So when the market turns, especially when it goes down, it's like somebody pulls the switch. It's done. It's over. The multiple offers stop and everything like that. So how do you balance? I get that for your long-term investors, you don't need to coach them. They know buy and hold. I'm not selling. But talk to me about your average Joe and Mary Smith that get more equity than they've ever had in their North American property. How do you balance buy and hold with, we think prices are going to go up? Get out now while you have the best, and put your money, you can, especially if you're at the later years of your life. What do you need all that equity stuck in your property for? You could do all kinds of great things with it, So what are you telling people as far as the market is sitting now, as far as getting out, or maybe taking a piece of their equity and putting it somewhere else?
I mean, that's a great question. I think it really matters on where you're at in life, what your goals are and really what you're trying to accomplish. And not all investors are in the same place in their life, and everybody's got a different goal. But I think for first-time investors, it's important to get in the market, and you have to be able to have a long time horizon. It's very important. Like you mentioned, real estate's not something you're going to check the value every day, 5 times a day. How much did my house go up? How much did it go down? You're not looking to speculate and gamble in the next month or 6 months or, 6 weeks, wherever. You're right. Buying it and holding it for 5, 10 years, 15 years. So if you're a first-time investor, I think you need to really adjust. This market was crazy. I seen people buy properties and within 1 month turn around and make 100,000 and thought that was normal. Mm-hmm. And, it happened, but it's not always the case. But, there's been a lot of people who are successful at accumulating real estate. And I think right now is a great time to really have a reflection and look to see, do I want to buy that secondary property up north? Do I want to help my kids? Do I want to spend it? Do I want to go to Europe? This is why we invest. This is why we save.
Europe, Dominican Republic. Come on, what do you know who you're talking to here?
Dominican sounds great. You got Cabaretti, you got Sosa, you got Hey,
A lot
if
of people
anybody's
going to
gonna take
Mexico as
Dominican,
well.
do
I
it.
don't understand the draw so much there because there are a lot of restrictions in Mexico compared to DR. But yeah, what's your thoughts on international real estate? You own any, and do you recommend diversifying into that market? Because I mean, if you go into that market, the STRs, the short-term rentals, can be very lucrative. I've got one up here with a 3-year return, like. You're all cash in. It pays back in 3 years. Are you kidding me? From a 70% occupancy, bro. It's insane. Some of the properties down here, what they rent for. So, are you recommending anybody look around internationally?
I think you have to be open-minded to these opportunities, and I think that, like you're mentioning, short-term rentals is one of the best business opportunities that you can enter into. I've got some short-term rentals. They do fantastic. They offer a lot of flexibility, great cash flow. And I think that's what's really important is the cash flow. If you own something, you have to ask yourself, why do you own it? And having something in Dominican that you can enjoy with the family over Christmas and make $5,000, $10,000 a month in positive cash flow, it doesn't really get much better than that.
Yeah, really, for sure. Well, how does your game change when the market tightens up? In a good market, any stiff can sell a house. They put a sign up, they put it in the MLS, it's sold immediately for more than full price. I don't do well in those markets for some reason, and I'm not a real strong buyer's agent. I mean, I do it because I do like it, but I'm more a listing agent. I'm in marketing. I know how to take contracts. You know me, back when I was home, everything was 4% to selling broker. In a tough market, people kind of think, oh, I need a cheaper commission. A cheaper commission doesn't mean you're going to pocket more money. That's the myth. That's the narrative, the false narrative that's out there that I try to bust with the commission coach and stuff like that. But how does your game change? I know that good agents do well in bad markets. I always did great. When the market was shit, I did really well. When the market was pumping, anybody can sell a house, and it seems like everyone had a cousin in the business. So how's your game change when the market tightens up, or we're seeing what we're seeing now, either a flattening or a declining of prices and activity?
I think you just have to take a deep breath. You've got to take a deep breath, and you've got to understand where you're at. You've got to understand the market, and you've got to be patient. Right now we're switching gears. It was crazy. It was pedal to the metal. And now things are slow, so you really have to understand what you're doing and be more sensitive to the market. And you have to have the conversation with the clients. It's all about expectations with the clients and being upfront. Right now, I think it's important to have the hard conversations with the clients and say, if you got the motivation and you have to sell, this is where it's at. And I think if you have good conversations with your clients, you'll be successful with transactions because you can price the property to where it needs to be. And I feel like a lot of the agents right now that might struggle, they're having difficulties explaining to their clients that 20%, 30%, you're down. And those numbers that you could have got, they're gone.
Right. So how does
You got to keep it real.
Does your game change at all? Your strategies? I'm talking specifically for listings. Obviously, buyers have a little bit more room. They can afford to put a condition in. They can try multiple offers on multiple properties without losing something and go back to something. It hasn't been like that for many years in North America almost, but especially your market, Niagara, which we failed to mention. I should say that you're a Niagara realtor. Does your game change as a realtor when the market tightens up? Do you go to any other different strategies? Do you market in the Treb board, or I just wondered, like, does your listing strategy change when the market tightens up? Because obviously you got to be a really good pricer of properties, or else your properties sit for 9 months. So I would imagine your pricing strategy changes, because in the market where stuff is just flying off the shelves with multiple offers, you don't need to, you pick any price and it sells over and above it. So how does your marketing game or your listing game change when the market tightens up?
I don't think it really changes. I think you have to give everybody 100% all the way through, whether the market's on fire or whether it's kind of stale right now and kind of flat. That's what they pay you for, is to get maximum exposure. The Treb board's always a must. We need all of our help from our friends in Toronto.
Oh, really?
They've got the doctors and they've got the dentists in Toronto, or entrepreneurs or investors. So we always have to network with our friends in the GTA. Niagara's small. You got to really look outside the boundaries here and bring people in. But I don't think much changes. I just think you have to have tougher conversations and really adjust people's expectations.
Right.
You know, because it's really hard for a lot of people to swallow when you have such a shift. Like you said, there's a light switch that goes on and off, and when it's off, it can be pretty scary. But you got to take a deep breath, and you got to shift gears.
What's your understanding of the money markets? I see. Do you play with the crypto? We saw interest rates go up a full percentage point yesterday. I love how the mainstream media couches at 100 basis points. Like, just say it. It's a full percent. It's a 1% rise. Like, we can take the truth. So you playing around with the crypto, or like, what's your understanding of? We get, what happens when real estate prices when mortgage rates go up, when interest rates, when the prime goes up. We know how that directly affects it. But I saw this is what brought this conversation on. Actually, was your inflation post the other day, which triggered me right off the bat, because you're like, yeah, right, 9.1 inflation. That is rigged. Like, if they really took. Like what they took real estate property values out. Here's what we want to know: how much does it cost us to eat and drive? That's inflation for me right now, and those prices are going through the roof. So how well do you understand the money markets, and are you playing around with the cryptocurrencies?
I mean, the market is affecting us all, and if you don't understand it, you're going to get a crash course real quick. Inflation is something that I don't think any of us have really had to experience up until now, being in Canada.
Right.
We've kind of been blessed with
outside of real estate inflation. We had real estate inflation, man. You talked about getting into the market. It's almost impossible for young kids to get into the market with the prices the way they are now. So, yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Inflation's tough, I mean, inflation is different for everybody, actually. The way I look at it is... inflation, depending on where you live and what you want to buy, is going to be different. So, the government's got these fake numbers to pacify everybody, to give people confidence that they know what they're doing. We know government and politicians know nothing. They're incompetent, and they'll screw up everything. And they've screwed up our entire monetary policy, and we see it everywhere. But they have these dirty tricks. They've got the consumer price index, where they cherry pick certain things and they add it to a basket, and they say, well, inflation is so-and-so. This is the price. But we can do that too, Jim. We can say, hey, listen, inflation is really low if we just compare Domino's Pizza and Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation is nothing.
Right.
But we know guys like us, middle-class guys, you go to the grocery store, you're feeling it. You're looking at the steak, and the steak is double. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at produce, it's double. And then you go to the gas station and you're hammered. Mm-hmm. And maybe you need to buy a new vehicle, and the vehicles are $100,000 for a pickup truck.
Yeah, right.
Inflation's crazy. This whole interest rate thing, it really showed me that the Fed, or the Bank of Canada, really control the markets. Mm-hmm. It's like directly correlated. As soon as the Fed makes an announcement, all the markets move. Mm-hmm. The Fed says something, the market moves. Doesn't matter if you're in the crypto, if you're in the stock market, if you're in real estate, whatever the interest rates are, that's basically what's going to, trail off after with the market.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much anxiety everywhere. And it's actually shocking to me that at 2.5% official rate, how this cheap money can have such a negative effect across the board. I mean, 2.5%, 5% to borrow, say at a 5-year fixed, and people are pretending like the world is falling.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5%, man.
Yeah, it's so great that you put that in perspective, because my money guy was Ian Wilson. He was who I used all the time, and he's gotten out of it now. I think he maybe does some private mortgages or stuff, but he was my guy at Remax, Mr. Wilson. Just a sweet guy. He's like your dad, like not
right.
Our dad, but he was just a sweet guy. And I remember him telling me, Jimmy, like the 30-year average is 11% for rates. Like, I don't know what it is now. This is probably a 10-year-old conversation, but
right.
You think that you got it bad. Like the average rate over the last 3 decades is like way over 10. It's outrageous how high the average rate has been. And we've been spoiled by a low rate for so long, and maybe artificially inflated prices because we brought in all kinds of buyers. We saw what happened in the States when they just opened the market to anyone basically, or they're giving mortgages away. And now we see a correction. Did you see an immediate effect in your business, and how did that, like Thursday, it happened yesterday, right? They raised a full point, maybe you haven't had enough time to kind of digest what kind of effect it's had on the market. It's kind of obvious what happens when rates go up, like we said already in real estate, but did you feel anything, that day? Do you have a flurry of calls to your mortgage guy for people to lock into the 10-year rate that are in a 3-year that don't want to expire?
I think everyone's still in shock, and I think that everybody's still trying to digest really what's going on. And the talk right now is, will they pivot? Can they really do this and continue to raise the rates? Wow, 11% 10-year average, and here we are at 25% of that, 30% of that.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't long ago you could get I don't know, it was like a 25-year term mortgage for less than 5%. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. Like, can you believe this? Like, I could get a 5-year term mortgage, like 25-year AM and term. Like, it's just stupid.
But I guess that's indicative of to this entire economy and how weak it really is. Yeah. I mean, this economy can't function now unless it has virtually free money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess that's really how bad our economy's gotten, where household debt and overall prices are just too high, debt's too high, and we can't function without cheap money. And we're seeing with 1-2% raises, everything's kind of at a standstill, which blows my mind. I mean, if somebody would give me $1 million right now for 2% or 3%, I'd think I'd take that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still so much anxiety and uncertainty in the market.
Interesting. What's your specialty? What do you gravitate towards? Are you residential? Do you mix it up with development and commercial industrial, or what's your what do you focus on for your business, your real estate business?
I don't have one particular field that I like. I just like investment portfolio building and adding good pieces of real estate that we can bring to the portfolio and increase our cash flow. Right. So we don't have to work. That's what I want real estate for. I want it so I don't have to work. I want real estate for freedom.
Right.
So we have some cash flow coming in from Dominican or wherever the apartment building is, or Plaza,
right?
Which would be fantastic just to keep building, right?
How many properties have you acquired since you got into the business?
Well over a dozen.
Nice.
Over a dozen properties throughout the years. And now I'm starting to sell off. In the last 6 months, I was identifying that this was a key time to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, why did I buy the property? I'm up 2-3x.
Wow.
I'm not greedy. You have to take the wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't want to sell, to be honest. I don't think anybody young should sell, because where are you going to put the money?
Right.
Where do you put the money, Jim? Like, you got a bunch of cash right now. Let's say, for example, in this time period, with inflation at 9%, why do you really want to hold cash?
Yeah, it's just worth less every day.
You're getting eaten alive, so you end up burning through this cash, and you've got nothing to show for it.
Right. Well, that's why you invest in some international stuff and go with some STRs, man. I really appreciate your time, brother. Is there anything you want to get out on the way out? Or you got any advice for people getting into the market? Where can they get a hold of you? Blah, 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 blah. This is the time for the full 10-minute commercial if you want it, man.
If people are looking for some good sound advice on how to enter the market, how to buy right, how not to overpay, or how to build a good portfolio so you have secondary income and passive income, I would love to help. We'll sit down, we'll have a nice consultation, and we'll figure out where you are in the market and what you're looking for. You can reach out to me via Facebook, or you can call me direct. My number is 905 359-2674, or email me at cosmo@revelrealty.com. This is still a great time to buy. The money's cheap. The money's cheap. And I have this thought. If you can borrow money at 3%, you can buy a thing and pay 3%. And inflation's at 9%. I think you're winning still.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now, it's about buying quality real estate. Scarce and desirable property is going to do well with this inflation. And I don't think we're going to see inflation go away. So I think what we need to do is we need to find the best scarce, desirable property and hold on to it. Lock in for long-term rates. This would be a successful play for any investor.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about your brokerage. I see that they won. I joke. I mean, Niagara gives more awards than any other community I've ever seen. I see that they won the Reader's Choice Awards. I usually that, but I know Ryan runs a tight ship over there. He seems to be doing well. So tell us about Revel Realty. And where did you start out? Who were you with before that?
Okay, so I started out with Century 21 here in Niagara.
Who's the broker?
Eugene Pilato and Roy Zanata.
Eugene is a guy I respect a lot, man. Is he still in the business?
He's still in the business.
Nice.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah,
he taught me so much. And those guys they're first class. They were great mentors. But Revel's the future. And Revel's an amazing brand. They're forward thinking. I think they've got the best brand right now in the business. And the way they promote and market is second to none. They're really aggressive, and they look great. Like you said, this is the Hollywood brokerage. Ryan's
shout out to Emily Berry. She is made for that shit, man. I don't see her post that much, but for a while there, all her stuff, her live feeds were coming up in my feed. I'm like, dude, you are a freaking natural. She plays that part well, man. Even Joe, her husband's, in the background commenting on the Facebook page and everything. Man, you guys got an interesting crew over there. And I met one of your colleagues came down here for a week and we hung out, so that was pretty cool. But
who was that?
Yeah, I don't want to say. We haven't gone public about that. So. I could, but I don't want to.
Emily's a rock star.
Yeah,
the whole company's full of superstars.
Yeah,
I'm so happy
some good
that
business.
I'm with Revel. They're great. They're absolutely great.
What type of market share you guys got? Do you know?
All of it.
Spoken to like a true Revel realtor.
They're on fire. Baby. These guys are on fire, and I work with some of the best realtors in the country.
Cool, man.
These guys are on fire, man. Well, it's unbelievable.
What's
going on over there in Dominican? You got any good properties right now?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm in sticker shock. I had culture shock for a little while because it's so different. Like I was only here a week 25 years ago and fell in love with the place. And so I came back to Sosua. The path just opened up for me, and I found a chance to get out of Canada while they refused to let people out of Canada. But you know what, dude? It's not like I wanted to live on a beach all my life. Anyone that knows me knows this wasn't the plan.
Right.
So I kind of feel like it was God's plan. Like it just opened up, and I had to get out of my country because I didn't want to get stuck there. I didn't know how long they would lock us down for, and they did. So I got out a week before they dropped the mandates for flights. And so down here has been a struggle. It's been amazing. It's taught me so much. Geez, I've really counted on my faith a lot since I've been here, that's for sure. Sticker shock from the standpoint of you can't believe how cheap labor is down here. You can't believe how cheaply they construct a property. Like $100 a square foot. First of all, everything's square meters, so I got to calculate it in my head. Really, it's not that difficult, but there's getting used to it, right? It's getting used to the peso and the American dollar, because like Lilo brought me chicken today. The special's 150 pesos. It's $3 American, which is kind of close to $5, maybe Canadian if you calculate it. But when you say $3 American, it sounds like nothing. But so there's a process of getting acclimated to that kind of stuff, the culture and the money, And then the prices in real estate are insane. Like, for instance, I've been pimping a property called Casa Linda quite a bit because they've been in business 30 years. They're gated communities. They've thought of everything. They built 400 villas so far down here. They've survived all the downturns. So nothing, their drains don't back up the wrong way. There's no they thought of everything because they built so many houses. And you can get into a brand new, gorgeous 2-bedroom with an elevated, slanted dormer roof that makes it feel so much bigger. 1,100 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 7,000-gallon in-ground pool, finished, landscaped, and furnished furnished with TVs, indoor, outdoor, couches, fridge, stove. They don't do the furnishing. That's an outside agency. They also have outside agencies for all the STRs, the short-term rentals. So those, but I'm looking at a comparable villa the other day. This is selling. They start at 228. No, 208. 228 with the dormer, 248 furnished, like somewhere in that range, American money. Unbelievable. And I'm talking to a firm down here called, I'll just say who it is, Casa Coco. They're a rental firm, and their equivalent 2-bedroom brand new suite, the Capri, is, she sent me, I took her 3 months, a 3-month window from July to December. No, I guess it was longer than that. It was July 1st to December, to the end of December. She's 101% occupancy. And you might say, well, how do you get that? Well, that's from double booking one day. That's when 2 people pay $129 a night for that room. So that day, that house made $250. And they take 10%. This property at $250, and here's the deal on Casa Linda. So there's lineups to get in the place, right? So they just released phase 12. They released 88 lots. Immediately, half of them sold. I think they got about 20 left. They probably have 20 left for a few more weeks, maybe months. 25K holds the lot. And then the early bird's got a January groundbreaking when you need 35% down. And then it's delivery in 7 months, and you have different points that you make your, you hit a 65%, or you hit and then it goes 95, I think, and then you hold the last 10% until after the final inspection, and then you go to the lawyer and close it. But so this is an equivalent property, 250,000 American, and I calculated it through these guys. It's easily making 30 a year, 30 USD a year. And, that's just an example of a brand new property, but we looked at one the other day. It was oceanfront. It was $379. The rental rate was through the roof, and the complete payback on the $379 was 3.8 years because it rents for it's like $379 a night or something. It's an oceanfront condo, but it's $379. Wow. So for me, like, I'm sitting there with the clients were from Chile, and in Chile you can't buy anything. It's like Toronto. Right. And, the person I was talking to wasn't a big fan of their politics and stuff like that. But, I'm sitting on the couch, and you could tell they were really into it because you could see the ocean. You could hear the ocean. And it's right on the ocean. And it's like who? Sounds good. How can you buy this for $379? But I told them in my hometown in St. Catharines, if this is on a freshwater lake, it's $1.4 million. It's just unbelievable. The sticker shock. But it's a different life too, right?
So, what's the politics over in Dominican? What's going on with the vaccine, and what's going on with all that?
I wish I could speak to it intelligently because I normally care about that kind of stuff. To be honest with you, I haven't been able to turn my head away from Biden and Trudeau. I mean, I just can't look away. Yeah. The car wreck is just I can't believe that we're having these discussions with our kids and all this kind of stuff. I know that the infection rate was one of the lower ones, even in the I hate saying first world country because I don't know. I hate referring it to as a third world country. I don't see it that way. And Dominican Republic is very self-sufficient.
Right.
Like, they make appliances here. They don't make they might actually have some car manufacturers down here. They've got the big towns like Punta Cana and San Diego and stuff like that, but they make everything. Like, I mean, no, you can't get Colgate made here type of thing. They import some things, right? But so politically, I really can't speak to it, but there was a time where they required masks in public spaces, you know?
Okay. That's not so bad.
But nobody wore them over their nose.
That
it
makes
was just
sense.
over your mouth, you know, and everyone wore them the same way. So it was almost like, and then they, at some places, they would ask you for the vaccine card. But if you just flashed your phone, they never looked at it. They never insisted on ID. So that it's almost like they want to make sure if the authorities are up front, they're doing their job. But other than that, just go. You know, like,
right.
And plus, they don't know what an Ontario Vax card looks like. So, you know, but to some
so
of
you're
them,
good.
Yeah, I flashed a QR at a money shop when I first got here, thinking I was all smart and stuff. I was just going, why am I going to a money shop? You just go to the corner down here and talk to James. Like, he gives
Just
you
like
a better
that.
rate. Yeah. There's guys, money changers all over the place. And you know what I love about this place is
What about
there's no regulations.
What about if I invest?
Well, there's no
investment?
regulations. That's what I love best about this place. You don't need a liquor license if you open a bar. You don't need a health license if you open a kitchen. I've never seen a hair in my food. I've never been poisoned down here. You know, you put up a shingle, you're a realtor. You put up a sign, you're in business. Income tax,
Just like that.
They don't chase you for income tax. They don't chase you for overstaying your visa. They don't, like, I mean, you pay when you leave the country if you've overstayed your visa, but it's just, you know, it's, I don't know, $250.
How long are you good for on your visa?
I think they start
6
charging
months?
you after 6 months. But, you know, I know expats down here that came here 30 years ago and never left. And they've been operating a bar and a business the whole time. And that, you know, like, and these are, like, I mean, it's through the pandemic, you know, the cops come by and, you know, you make sure they're your friends and they leave you alone. I've been pulled over.
$5?
Yeah, well, you know what? I've been stopped twice. Once was for speeding on a highway, and once was well, I won't tell you the details of that one, but you know, these guys are they all they want to do is eat. They get paid shit, you know?
Right.
And you know, so it's so different down here, man. And you know, you've traveled, you know what the locals are like. But I love the fact that there's just lack of regulation. You know, the lawyers, you need a good lawyer, especially if you're buying real estate, because title is really tricky down here, right? If you don't have the deslinde and everything's not tight, then you just run from it because you don't need title issues. So, and if you get a lawyer that doesn't give a shit, he'll close a deal on a bad title, and that you don't want. So we, thank goodness, I've connected enough that we've got good contractors that we can trust.
The right team.
We've got good lawyers that we can trust. And, you know, it's not like they're on the payroll or whatever, but we, you know, it's not hard to figure out who the guys are that are doing business that you can trust because they got a good name down here.
So the properties that you like to specialize in is more STRs.
No, actually, when I first got down here, I was doing hotels and resorts. I'm still all my listings are big hotels. Like I've got anywhere from like an STR, a $600,000, like it's 4 identical bungalows and then a double bungalow that's made into an owner's suite, which is cool. So you can rent in Kite Beach, Cabarete. So $599. And you know what? She's just going back to Spain. She's been here 17 years. She wants to be closer to her grandkids and stuff like that. She's just done. It's not like she's getting out because she, you know, because the market's bad or she, you know. So I've got anywhere from 600,000. Well, I've got some cheaper stuff too because Casa Linda lets us market their property. So, and those entry level ones are, you know, I got a condo for $50K in the building where I live here. $50K American. And
I've got a climb for you.
Yeah,
I've got a climb for you.
This is an old,
we just sold a commercial property for him.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm Cosmo, let's go to Dominican. Let's buy a property there. He wants to be there. He wants to have a secondary property. I think he wants to come in September. So we'll connect and we'll do a deal.
And that's the other thing.
Talk to me about financing options or potential
Don't even talk
VTBs.
to me about pen. No, fucking bring cash. Don't even worry about
cash.
it. I mean, yes, there are banks. Scotiabank has a Dominican arm down here, separate from Canada. Yes, they will provide some level of financing, not for commercial stuff, though. But and Casa Linda does have bridge financing, and they can hook you up. Last time I think it was a 3.75 5-year, I think. I can't remember. That might have changed. I'm not sure. Just because the rates go up in Canada doesn't mean they go up down here. But yeah, I mean, you can get the odd VTB. Like I've got a 70-unit hotel. It's 2.2 million with half down. He'll finance the rest. And the coolest thing is it's 70 rooms, but there's 58 titles. So you got one title with the commercial on the main drag with 17 units in it, and then you got 38 bungalows and apartments out the back that are in this own little community that back onto the lagoon. 58 titles. Yeah, there's 30. I can't remember exactly. I think it's 38 condos. And so you can really get creative, but you should talk to me sooner than September. I'll send you some details on it. We've got this one right beside Casa Marina. It's between the Marriott, which is really high end, Sosua on the Sea, which is oceanfront, and Casa Marina, which is probably 600-room resort. It's right beside Spanky's. The guy's from St. Catharines. I come down here to meet a guy from St. Catharines. He's like, Jimmy Fannon, that sounds familiar. I'm like, yeah, what's your last name? He tells me. I'm like, dude, where are you from? Yeah, St. Catharines. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he's burned out with agents. He doesn't want, like, he doesn't want to deal with agents because he's been lied to so many times, right? Oh, we're going to sell your property. But it's a 17-room hotel right down in the resort district. He wants 800 American, 800,000. And in the 17 rooms, if you don't run it as a hotel, because it's tricky, you need a little bit of improvement, but it's turnkey. You could open it tomorrow. There's
How
10.
old is it?
I can't remember. There's 10 titles.
But it's in good shape?
Yeah, I would give it a 6.5, 7, maybe 7 plus, depending on what your eye looks like. It's not 4-star, but with $5,000 a unit, it could be 4-star because the labor's so cheap down here. But it's got 10 titles in it. So the penthouse titles. Yeah, the penthouse is its own title. So that's $279 renoed. Then there's 3 down the right-hand side or the left-hand side of it. You can make that 3 2-bedrooms, and then whatever's left is 1 bedrooms. And
what a great opportunity just to kind of buy it and piece it out one by one.
Yeah, and you could do it within a year. It's not island time on everything down here. You can pay to have stuff done quickly, but yeah, the renovations are super cheap. Obviously, materials have gone up just like they have everywhere else in the world, but everything's concrete. Everything's concrete and tile, and a lot of that stuff, is domestic, so.
So what's the market like right now in the last, say, 2-3 months? Has it slowed
insane.
down? Is it still steady?
No, it's insane, bro. And I don't say that just to pump my stuff. It's when I first got here at the end of October, you could find, I do have, this $50,000 condo down here is not actually listed yet. It's it'll probably sell to somebody that we know. Right, because it's
$50,000 for a condo.
Yeah, in an old Club Med building with a generator backup and an I don't know how big this pool is. It's got to be 80 feet long. It's the biggest pool in Sosua. Wow. It's huge, and they take pretty good care of it. It's not 4-star resort care, but it's a pretty nice building. It's in Caribe Campo, and so anyways, when I first got down here, you could find a few $50,000 condos. Now they're non-existent. We're looking for. Somebody called me the other day, $250 on the beach. Forget about it. No way. Even close. No.
On the beach.
$250. You can still get even a 3-bedroom under $250 detached is tricky now. The 3-bedroom condo under $250, that's getting tricky. So we're seeing what used to be doable, no problem. Even 8 months ago when I got down here is an extinct being now. They're gone. Now, if you're gonna troll for months, you'll find it.
Sure.
We will find it for you. But if you're coming down and you're gonna buy in the next 30 days and you're buying something, you're gonna pay market rates, and market rates have gone up. And that's kind of the interesting thing about the island is, when they went through 2008, we didn't see the North American crash. They just more flatlined. Yeah, the rentals went down. People weren't traveling here in COVID, but they managed through COVID. And their properties didn't go through the floor. They just kind of flattened. So, I look at it okay, we've had 2 big, economic factors weighing on real estate. And down here, the repercussions were flatline. I can take a flatline. I just don't want to see.
Flatline is okay.
Yeah.
Flatline is okay sometimes. So who is who are the people? What country are they mainly coming from to invest? Are we getting a lot of Canadians, or is it Europeans? Where are these people coming from?
Canada's number one. Well, I would say it's very close between Americans and Canadians, but the population of expats down here from Canadians is huge.
So you feel very safe?
Oh, this is an expat community. Oh, safe, dude. I mean, the place I buy my weed feels like the safest place in Sosua. The guys are so cool. There's, and weed is not, it's not like at home where it's legal. Like, it's a big deal.
Right.
You don't fuck around with that stuff down here.
Seriously?
But I've never felt unsafe. I walk I don't go out at night all that much, but now, unless you think prostitution is a hazard to your health, and girls coming up to you all the time and propositioning you, and I mean, the first time I was in town, you go to the discotheque, so you got more hands in your pockets than you got to have your head on a swivel because everyone's looking. But those are just the street girls. So if you think that's Sosua, Cabaret's not like that. Cabaret, well, you know what Cabaret is like. It's Kite Beach, right? And Cabaret's got such a cool vibe because everyone's low body fat. Everyone's fit as fuck. They're all tanned, and they all got this big fucking stupid grin on their face because they either just came from what they love doing, carrying their even if they're not smiling, they're carrying their surfboard, and you can tell they're right where they want to be, or they're going to do what they want to be. It's a really cool vibe down here. So safety is really overplayed and overblown. All those videos from a long time ago, and well, there's no videos, but people making videos about, Dominican, and you get murdered in your hotel room. It's like, come on, man. You want to compare it to Mexico? Like, I've been to Mexico. You better be fucking careful in Mexico. Me and my brother got into some barrios in Mexico where we're like, fuck, are we going to get out of here? But then you're up to no good, right? You shouldn't have been there in the first place. But if you're just staying, you can walk on the street. Now, my friend that came down from Canada, who was a rather tall woman, said, dude, I can handle myself, and I've never seen anything like that. I'm like, serious? I have never heard that. But she's got long hair and whatever. I know all kinds of girls that walk around down here, and they don't get that kind of stuff. So that was the first time I heard that. But she's like, dude, no, they're trying to get me they're physically trying to put me on their moto to take me somewhere, to give me a ride.
Well, that's important because there's all these misconceptions and there's all these stories that are just bullshit. You know what I mean? People are talking about what happened in 1990 or early 2000s, and it couldn't be the farthest from the truth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there it seems to be a lot of petty crime anyways. I don't know. They drive like animals down here, but I've been driving a motorcycle for a few months, and you got to be careful. But
what's the cost? What's like a cost of living for a month? If I want to live there, what's it going to cost me to live?
Oh, dude.
Mortgage aside, you buy the property. What's it look like per month to live there?
You can rent a little apartment in a decent area for $500 American, no trouble. Especially now because the high season comes back in September, right? And then September to April, it's high season again, so the prices will go up. But $500 American buys you a nice little apartment with generator backup. I get, like I told you, down the street, 2 pieces of chicken with brown rice and salad delivered. It's like a lunch special. It's 150 pesos delivered to my house. Gasoline has gone up 20 pesos a gallon since I've been here. So in 9 months, it went from 255 to 275 a gallon. No. It went pesos. So it went from 250 pesos to 275 pesos. So let's call it 40 cents a gallon. How much is your gas gone up?
Has it over double?
My brother he was filling up the other day. He says, I'm getting a good deal today. 179.
I was paying 2.25.
I heard that.
It's insane.
I heard that. So
over here it's a clown show.
Yeah, but I hear they subsidize the petroleum down here because the locals are that's their way of life. That's how they get around, so.
Well, we definitely have to connect. I do have a client. Let's do some business. He wants to buy something in Dominican. I don't know what his budget is exactly, but I think he could swing 250.
Yeah. Well, that's
250, 300.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get a decent condo.
Yeah, and just like anything else, I know you're trying to leverage your money and you want your cash to go as far as you can. And so I understand the VTB thing and stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying if you're serious about buying something, bring cash and you don't have to screw around. Maybe on the next deal, if you're going to wait for, and troll for a little while, you'll find the perfect deal with a vendor take back.
Yeah. What about citizenship? Is there any type of programs or incentives that if we invest in Dominican, we can get a passport?
I think it's $250K. So if you buy a house or an asset, you can apply with your citizenship through that investment. And
that's beautiful.
It's not the cheapest. I can't remember exactly. I don't want to quote how much it is. But, yeah, if you make an investment, I think it's $250. And real estate does qualify for that. And get this. Some of these, like the Casa Linda property I was talking to you about, they've got a Confiture government program that defers your income and real estate taxes for 15 years. But almost no one pays real estate taxes down here. It's unbelievable. They have HOA fees, like condo fees for the homeowners association, because they have, common wells and backup generators, because the hydro sucks here. It's off all the time. So if you don't have a backup generator, you could go 8 hours without power, you know what I mean, without electricity.
Right.
Hydro. They don't know what hydro is. My hydro's off. They're like, what? What's hydro?
How's the internet?
Good. Yeah, not good. And everything's much cheaper. Internet you're going to pay for, I'm paying 2,200 pesos, so $44 a month, 20 megabits or whatever they call it, which is good enough to broadcast like this. My cell phone is 1,600 pesos a month with 10 gigs and 100 minutes, which I never use.
So it's just cheap living over there.
$32 American. So it's a little cheaper. It's not, but no, I mean, you can live pretty cheaply down here. And, if you're buying imported stuff, then yeah, you're going to pay. But, you get a coconut split open for you on the side of the road. The guy will pour you a gallon for 400 pesos. He'll split 15 coconuts out, drain all the water into a jug for you that you can take home, put in your fridge, and $8. Fresh coconut water.
Wow.
It's the best, man.
$8.
Yeah.
$8. I got that for one can of coconut water over here is $8.
I was paying $7 for a fucking 20-liter jug of water at Ricochet. And I like Ricochet, don't get me wrong. It's the best water ever. It's worth the $7, trust me. But down here it's 30 pesos, 60 cents. Now, it's shit water. It's like dead, whatever, distilled or whatever the fuck it is. It's stripped probably clean of everything. But yeah,
still for that kind of money.
30
so you don't plan on coming back to Canada?
No, I found out I got a fucking bench warrant for the lockdown tickets that I got, so I might even get trouble coming back. So long live my father. I hope he lives forever. That's the only reason I would have to come home. But no, I got to make it work down here and smash some deals and figure it out. It's been a long road, man. I went 8 months in real estate when I started in '93 without a deal at Remax at $2,500 a month. Cha-ching,
right.
cha-ching,
Ching, ching, ching.
The first deal I had, I was already in debt, like $16,000 with my brokerage, because back then, there's,
a Remax trap.
Down here, Remax don't charge no desk fees, baby. It's, it's
sweet.
all different.
Sweet.
It's all different. But no MLS either down here.
No MLS?
No, it's crazy. You go on point two.
So everyone's holding pocket listings?
Yeah, and you can market stuff on point two, and only the buyer gets paid. There's no exclusivity. So when you take a contract, you take it with 15 other agents.
No shit.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. You list your house, you call Remax Century 21, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you have 15 guys come over to promote your property, and only the guy or girl that brings the buyer gets paid.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So you got to get that buyer.
I got a few exclusive listings, though. That's going to be my specialty. I'm not like, no, we only take exclusive listings. You want the best? You got to pay.
Hey, man, I think you did the right thing by going to Dominican. Here it's just, they want us to take a shot now every 9 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
crazy.
tough. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, my worries for the kids mostly, more than anything with the schools.
Did you see
stuff. Yeah, they approved it today.
Did you see they approved that for kids?
I can't look away, Cosmo. I cannot look away from my own government. I wish I could. I wish I could just give up on it and go, okay, like all the time I spend looking at Justin Trudeau, I could be looking at properties down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my commitment. I'm going to make that again.
Jim, listen, I am so honored to be on your show, and
It was great to talk to you, man.
you popped my cherry, man. So
All right. Well,
this is awesome, and I'd like to do this again. And
bring on
the only
some
thing I want to let you
specific.
know is I got my laptop showing 4% left.
All
And
right.
I don't want
It's a good time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I don't want to have an abrupt shutdown without saying goodbye. And let's set this up again, and let's stay in touch,
Sounds good, brother.
and let's do some business. That's
All
the
right.
most important. Let's actually make some money together.
All right,
That would
homie.
be awesome.
Okay.
Show me around.
All right, homie. We'll talk soon. Thanks for the time and the love. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Peace
brother.
out. Ciao.
Ciao, bro.
That's how you do that. Getting hot up in here. Usually I turn the air conditioning on from... No, my chair's falling apart as I'm sitting on it bit by bit here. Cosmo, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. You have the contact information, and the link is in the bio. Peace, love, hug your neighbor, and invest in DR. I'm out.